Hi, this is Gene Dillard, and I'm pleased to share with you some of the more memorable quotes I've recorded over more than 30 years covering the New Jersey Statehouse. The sound bites you'll hear don't by any means represent a comprehensive retrospective. Unfortunately, I don't have tapes on everything. Many were lost or erased over the years, and some of the quotes from legislative debate, particularly in the early years, couldn't be recorded because there was no way to hook into the system. These are just a few of the notable clips I did manage to save. We start with a man who's now in great demand as an after-dinner speaker. In his days as governor, he was known as Brendan Boring, but even then he had a few good quotes, like this one when he signed the Atlantic City Casino bill.
Organized crime is not welcome in Atlantic City. And I warn them again, keep your filthy hands out of Atlantic City. Keep the hell out of our state.
A second Byrne quote comes from the opening of the first Atlantic City Casino, Resorts International.
My father once told me never to bet on anything except Notre Dame and the Yankees, and for anyone not willing to follow my father's advice, this casino is now open.
It isn't often we get sound bites from mob bosses, but when the State Commission of Investigation held hearings on organized crime in the late 70s, Philadelphia's South Jersey underworld chieftain Angelo Bruno was called to testify. He was quizzed by then SCI Chairman Joe Rodriguez about his plans in Atlantic City.
I own nothing in Atlantic City, directly or indirectly.
And are not in the process now of negotiating any other business activity in Atlantic City?
Mr. Chairman, the way I feel right now, if they wanted to give me a hotel with a casino for nothing, I wouldn't take it. This is the way I feel.
One of the stories I'll always remember is Senator Dick Cody's undercover investigation in the 80s at Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital. Cody was concerned that convicted criminals were being hired to work with patients, so he decided to find out for himself.
I took the identity of a career criminal who passed away about a year ago in prison and applied for a job under that name, using that identity, and was accepted and hired at Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital to work. Now, all that needed to be done was a simple record check of the name and the date of birth would have shown up that I was, in fact, a career criminal and, in fact, a convicted rapist. That's all that had to be done. That was never done.
Ethics in government has always been an important topic. It was an ethics scandal which forced Senator Bob Torricelli to pull out of the race for re-election in 2002.
I am a human being. And while I have not done the things that I have been accused of doing, I most certainly have made mistakes. There will be those who have concluded that those mistakes bring justice this moment because there's a price to be paid. When did we become such an unforgiving people?
There were many historic votes in the legislature through the years, including approval of the Pinelands Protection Act, imposition of the state income tax, divestiture of state pension funds from companies doing business in South Africa, and many, many more. In the 90s, legislative approval of an assault weapons ban made news. After the vote, I asked Roger Iverson, at the time the chairman of the Coalition of New Jersey Sportsmen, his reaction.
My reaction to this vote? I feel like a $2 whore at sunrise.
What's that like? What does that mean?
You really want me to say?
Well, you used the analogy. What do you mean?
We've just been screwed, and it's sunrise, and I'm not going to be respected in the morning.
Tax increases almost always make news. Imposition of a $2.8 billion tax hike in the early 90s made voters so angry that they defeated incumbent Governor Jim Florio. During the campaign against Florio, Republican candidate Christy Whitman promised to roll back the state income tax.
New Jersey is not a punching bag, and we're ready to punch back. We won't answer with an echo, but with a roar. Because while Jim Florio enacted the biggest tax increase on our history, I will enact the biggest tax cut.
Through the years, New Jersey has had numerous presidential candidates in the state. One I remember well was Hubert Humphrey. He was in New Jersey at a time the sex scandal involving Congressman Wayne Hayes and Elizabeth Ray had come to light. Humphrey's name had also been mentioned as one of those who knew Ray. The vice president took off quickly, with me chasing after him when I raised the question following a campaign appearance.
There's been some comment about you and Elizabeth Ray.
Oh, that's a lot of nonsense. No fact or substance. It's sheer nonsense. Pure nonsense.
Did you ever meet her?
Oh, sure, like a lot of other people. In the halls of Congress. In the halls of Congress.
Did you ever have lunch with her?
Never. Nor dinner, nor supper, nor breakfast.
Over the past 3 decades, I've covered my share of state political campaigns. The 1981 gubernatorial contest between Tom Kean and Jim Florio made history as the closest race ever in New Jersey. I was at Florio headquarters election night when the Democratic candidate emerged in the wee hours of the morning to tell his supporters the contest was a long way from being decided.
Anybody can do it the easy way. So we decided to stretch it out a little bit.
Campaigns often produce their share of double talk. Some of you remember the 1989 race between Jim Florio and Jim Corder. Corder made news with this statement.
If the state of New Jersey is using public money, for example, for foster parents, that an avowed homosexual should be screened such that they do not affect negatively impressive youth under which they have responsibility. Those are the types of situations. So if an individual is an avowed homosexual, then I don't believe that the state of New Jersey should pay them to be foster parents.
2 weeks later, though, amid a growing controversy over his statement, Corder had changed his tune considerably.
The hiring of homosexuals is something that can be done. I advocate no changes in the laws of the state of New Jersey. That's what I said before, and that's what I'm saying today.
You're saying that you do not feel that there should be a ban on them serving as ban on use of state money for them to be foster parents or camp counselors?
There should be no changes in the laws of the state of New Jersey on that area.
What is law in that? Why did you change your mind on that?
I did not change my mind. That's my view from a policy standpoint today. It was always my view.
Don't make us laugh, Congressman. This was in like 6
I'm not
attempting
to make you laugh.
Campaigns have also produced some memorable debates. This clip comes from the same 1989 Corder-Florio gubernatorial race. Corder sought to make hay out of Florio's absence at an NAACP event.
I promised Lucinda that we were going to have that day to ourselves. I notified the group 3 weeks in advance, and they obviously accepted that. But it was something that was important.
Let me just tell you something. That group was not happy that you did not come. That group was told that you were filming a TV commercial upstate in New York. Then that group was later told that you couldn't come because you're taking a personal day off.
Did you
That's an important
group. Tell the group that you lied when you said that you sponsored the Martin Luther King Day holiday bill,
Jim,
and then
you voted. The sine qua non.
And then you
here,
voted
Jim.
against the bill?
You love to use the word lie. I guess that fits your demeanor. And I'm not sure we want a governor of the state of New Jersey that's so flippant with that type of a language. That
or one that
exactly,
lies.
Jim.
Or one that lies.
That Jim does not elevate the debate.
One of the best exchanges came not during but after the debate between Frank Lautenberg and Pete Dawkins in the 1988 Senate race, when Dawkins called Lautenberg a swamp dog.
I think the people of this state are going to be well served if you and I knock it off, stop this negative personal attacks, and start talking to what are the real issues, what are our differences of views, where our values are different.
Pete, I don't want to stand here while you make a speech and take that sanctimonious attitude. You just called me a swamp dog.
Do you agree?
If you want to settle this issue, then you have to give it a little time. Don't do it just after you called me the last negative that you want.
Frank, that
I'm
you do
saying
not
that you
want
wanted,
this
you
campaign
said you
to turn
want to
in a
turn it
positive
into a
direction?
barroom brawl, and you've succeeded in doing that.
I have said,
and I think we ought to let the people of New Jersey hear very clearly. Pete Dawkins used a term of reference for a United States Senator. It's a swamp dog. He's better than that. Pete, you're a hero.
Frank,
you were a football hero. You had a Heisman Trophy. You had a Heisman Trophy. You had a Heisman Trophy. Aren't you embarrassed? You're out of control. Your campaign's out of control.
No, not at all.
You suggested that I went down to Washington to make money. Look me in the eye and say it in front of all these people here. Do you think that I went down to Washington to make money? Say it.
I think you made a pledge to the people of New Jersey to put your money in a blind trust, and you did not meet that pledge. But Frank, listen.
Did I go down there?
There's an issue before this group. There's something before the people here. I have
Did you say that I went down?
have said at this
Did you say
point,
that
listen to me, Frank,
No,
I
I'm
have
not.
said
I don't
I
have
am
to listen
prepared
to
to
you.
move this campaign in a positive direction.
I think it's a good idea.
I have pledged to change, and whatever may have happened in the past, let's don't wallow in that. Whatever may have happened in the past, I'm saying let's both put behind us.
I think it's a great idea.
And I think
and
we
as
should
soon as
make
I
that
see that you're
commitment.
sincere, then I'm going to take you up on the offer.
I am making you the offer
As soon as I see
now.
that you're sincere, Pete, I'll take
I
you
am
up on that offer
sincere,
because I'm
and I don't
proud of
know
my
what
record in New Jersey.
That's right.
And I want to
think
have a
it's
chance to
time now
support
for
it
the
and
people of New
defend it.
Jersey.
Heated exchanges weren't limited to debates between political opponents. This next argument centered around Taro the dog. It was before Governor Whitman pardoned the animal for an alleged attack on a child. It was still during the Florio administration, and legislation sponsored by Assemblyman Joe Azzolina designed to spare Taro's life had just gone down to defeat in the lower house. The dog's owner, Lonnie Lehrer, was naturally upset. As he was being interviewed outside the chamber, Halworth Councilman Bob Cooper began arguing with him. Cooper was seeking the death penalty for Taro.
I have read the law. Have you?
Yes, I've read the law, and I know law backwards and forwards. There is no correlation between dog versus dog aggression
That's a
and
lot of
human.
crap.
No, that's
The
not a
law
lot
has
of crap.
nothing
You
to
ask
do with
any
that.
expert, and that expert will know that. You are misinformed.
You
are
didn't
the one who
witness-
don't know.
You didn't witness any of these, nor did
No,
any member of your family.
I didn't
not
witness
one.
any of them, but
not
every one of them was caused
and
by
all the
human
witnesses
error.
went into
You
court.
are the one who's misinformed,
No,
not me.
I talked to the witnesses. You talk
talked
to
the
yourself.
witness. All of a sudden,
you
you
have
come
said
on,
here
and
is
you are an
nothing-
expert at this.
I'm
You
not
didn't
an
write the
expert.
law. Assemblyman Azzolino did, not you.
The
You
law
are the
do-
one who was misinformed, not me,
Lonnie.
sir.
No, Lonnie, you didn't, or no member of your family witnessed any of these events, and everything you have said is wishful
There
conjecture.
is nothing to correlate dog versus
Has
dog.
nothing to do with it. This
That's
dog
right.
attacked a person.
You are right. There has nothing to do with it. The dog did not attack a person. You look at that picture and you tell me that's a bite? You're dreaming if you tell me that's a bite. Where is the canine marks? Where do the scratches come from?
Lonnie,
tell me where the scratches are. Yeah, take out the picture.
I'll take
out the picture.
Yeah, I'll also take out
No,
the
take
plastic
out the
surgeon.
picture.
Yeah, right.
Take out the plastic
Okay.
surgeon. Yes, I want to ask you about that. The plastic surgeon, they've never made mistakes? My father died because of a doctor's mistake. And this is another mistake of a doctor. Yeah.
This is the picture.
This is the picture.
Anybody want to look at this picture?
And what's this?
20%.
And what's this? You don't care what that is? This is what caused that.
No, it didn't. The
Yes,
surgeon said...
The surgeon is wrong. I don't care.
The surgeon is wrong?
Yes. Are you telling me that surgeons have never been wrong? I have a missing
You ain't a
father
surgeon.
because... You're damn right I'm not a surgeon, and neither are you, sir.
That surgeon was...
What, are you going to take out the testimony?
Yeah,
An avulsion,
you bet.
I know what you're going to. An avulsion. And I looked it up in the dictionary, and it doesn't say only caused by a dog bite.
If this were a dog's paw with a nail, dog's nail which would have caught the lip, an avulsion would not have resulted.
Oh,
it would
that's
tear
a doctor
free.
telling you that.
That's right.
That's a doctor who's an
Who
animal
treated?
expert.
He's a person expert. He's a person
expert.
It would tear
I
through.
have animal experts who know that this
You
is a
would
scratch.
have a laceration.
This is misinformation.
A cut, even a jagged
It's a
cut.
misinformation
But
based
you
on
would
you
not
want
have
to
injuries
annihilate
such
a
as
dog
this.
because it's a dog versus dog fight. That's what you're coming at. Has nothing to do with a bite.
What would you
and
say,
you know
Lonnie?
that.
It
Do you
does have
think-
to do with a bite. Right here, I have it.
If this was a bite, I wouldn't be standing here.
Okay, then why are you standing here?
Because
the
it's
surgeon,
not a bite. Don't
it
you
says
listen?
It says it's a
I don't
bite.
care. Doctors
You
make
weren't even
mistakes.
there. You weren't even
Lawyers
there.
make mistakes.
You weren't even there.
I was in the kitchen.
But you were not
I
in the
heard
bedroom.
A child
Say I was bitten.
said I was hit.
No, dogs don't.
Oh, now you're in my house telling me what I heard?
I read the testimony. It's here.
The
She said it.
testimony-
Her father
she said it?
that. Her father said she
He
was.
didn't
She said
testify.
that. The surgeon said she was bitten. When are you going to stop
surgeon-
denying the facts?
Because
They're
you
there.
are misrepresenting the
I'm
facts.
not. Here are the facts. You
Those
made
aren't
up
the
a bunch
facts.
of. Yes, they are.
The surgeon
facts.
made a mistake.
Oh, a surgeon
and you're
made-
basing your whole contention on one witness,
No,
the
no,
surgeon?
no, a whole
You're
parade of
wrong.
witnesses, a whole
You're
parade of them.
absolutely wrong.
There have been many unforgettable characters in the legislature in Trenton over the years. People like Tony Imperiali, Mike Adebato, Jim Turner, Kenny Gewirtz, Hap Farley, Al Beadleston, David Friedland, Bill Musto, and of course, Chris Jackman. This clip comes from a committee meeting in which a shouting match developed between then-Senator Jackman and Assemblyman Ron Dario. Dario had called the meeting to discuss Jackman's tenants' rights bill, but had failed to invite Jackman.
You select who you invite. I said tenants and you can't do that. This is a public hearing. I can, so you tell me why I can't. There's no law telling me that the chairman of a committee cannot invite people to testify. What is this, a closed hearing? What do you mean closed hearing? You said only who you invite. And those who might want to attend? But you didn't say, how would I know they would attend this meeting when it wasn't publicized? How did you get here now? Somebody told you?
Yes, somebody told me in the hallway. Word of mouth, that's how you conduct business?
I can invite who I want.
You never put me on order in a million years.
You don't stay in order.
This is a phony meeting you're conducting. This is unfair. You should have invited me. You should have invited me. You're afraid to invite me.
My God.
You're afraid. You got no bananas, plenty of.
16 years he's here, you're here. There wasn't a piece of legislation.
You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar.
We're controlled by you.
You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. We did more for tennis than you ever did in your life. You don't have a right to invite individuals. You can't have a phony meeting.
Will you kindly refrain from screaming?
Well, if you can't conduct the meeting right, you ain't gonna try to put me out. I won't leave because you're a foul ball doing what you're doing now.
16 years.
Yeah, 16 years. You should have my record. I'll match mine with yours any day. I don't make deals.
We'll make it better.
I don't make deals.
We'll make it better.
I don't make deals.
Yeah, crisscross himself.
Yeah, crisscross. You know what you did.
After all that arguing, maybe it's time for a little music, and I use that word loosely. This clip comes from a legislative hearing on South Jersey's possible secession from the rest of the state.
From South Jersey, and we're proud to say it, but Trenton's price is too high, we can't pay it. Take a stand, we've got a plan. We'll make a new state of South Jersey. Oh, we don't mind paying our share if Trenton's fair. But we break our backs to pay our tax, then they send it in North Jersey. It's not fair. We need our share. We need a new state of South Jersey.
Speaking of music, many of you know Red Mascara, who hands out candy in Trenton on most legislative days. Red has been coming to the Capitol for longer than just about anyone, pushing for his composition, I'm from New Jersey, to be made the state song. He came closest in the early 70s, when both houses of the legislature approved it. However, the measure was vetoed by Governor Bill Cahill, who had some pretty unkind things to say about it. Well, you can judge for yourself. This clip comes from a performance by Red and his band on the assembly floor.
I'm from New Jersey and I'm proud about it. I love the Garden State. I'm from New Jersey and I brag about it. I think it's simply great. All of the other states throughout the nation may mean a lot to some, but I'll take New Jersey, brother. Jersey is like no other. I'm glad that's where I'm from.
Music also played a part in some commercials. Who could forget the Florio cereal box and this ad which went with it?
Florios, Florios, you won't like the stuff inside them. Florios, Florios, you'll regret it if you try them.
Jim Florio took thousands from the gun lobby.
He's not independent.
No way.
No how. Just take a look at who's contributing now.
And Jim Florio took tens of thousands from the insurance industry.
Florios, Florios, the special interests love each bite. New Jersey's future will be very bright.
More tough, independent governor joined the Alan Karcher team.
I should note that Alan Karcher apologized to Jim Florio after the South Jersey congressman became governor. This next clip comes from a Florio commercial aimed at Christy Whitman in 1993 after Whitman proposed her famous state income tax cut. It's patterned after the Crazy Eddie ads.
You people lucky enough to live in the cities, you get a 50% tax cut. 50%! Bankrupt the state? Who cares? We're talking Christy Whitman and her election year specials. Now she's got an even better deal. Skip the checks and go right for the cash. That's right. Christy is sending mail to voters across the state, promising them $1,000 in cash. All they have to do is vote for her. $1,000 cash. It's amazing. It's incredible. It's Christy Whitman. Her promises are insane.
I did my share of interviews with law enforcement officials over the years. Many of you remember Justin Dentino's confirmation hearing for state police superintendent when he admitted to driving regularly over the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. This is part of a phone interview I did with him about state police presence on the highways for a holiday weekend.
And we'll have additional sobriety checkpoints
We'll have additional stationary radar. We'll have supplementary patrols. And we're going to be concentrating, as usual, in the area of drinking while intoxicated.
Another state police superintendent, Carson Dunbar, offered his take on the biggest football game of the year.
Being number one in anything is a very difficult process, and it's difficult to maintain. Only one team makes it to the Super Bowl.
Think about that one. Only one team in the Super Bowl. Legislators have also made their share of unforgettable statements. This was a clip which went out statewide over the Assembly Democratic audio line. It was from Assemblyman George Otlowski on his reaction to plans to build a garbage dump in Perth Amboy in his legislative district.
There are any number of people who are suggesting, that Middlesex County and that the 19th district become the anus of the state of New Jersey.
There were lots of faux pas over the years, but none more memorable than this one from Senator Matty Feldman.
People on fixed incomes cannot afford the luxury of double-dicking.
Another never-to-be-forgotten quote came out of a news conference by Assemblywoman Marion Kreco on her bill to ban gay marriages. She denied the proposal was similar to racial discrimination.
People are men and women, so it's very different, and they naturally go together. You just look at the animals, and you see animals go together, male and female. So being homosexual has nothing to do with race. Pardon me? Well, maybe so, but when we watch them and we go to Great Adventure, any of these places, we see them.
I guess no one gave me more bizarre quotes during my time in Trenton than Senator Joe Maressa. He saw himself as a defender of morality. Take this quote on marijuana.
I think that what we have is when a person goes out and starts smoking marijuana, becomes high on marijuana, they kind of combine it with hardcore pornography. And I think they go hand in hand. And this is from the arrests that have been made. And when you usually go to some one of these psychedelic places, what do you find? You find the use of drugs and marijuana, and you also find way out sex. You find hardcore pornography in the psychedelic with the weird music and the colors and everything else.
Then there's this observation by Maressa on divorce.
Approximately 55% of all marriages end up in divorce. And it's our fault. You're making divorces too easy. I'm against all these easy divorces, abortions, pornography, homosexuality, all that stuff. We have to, concern ourselves with the quality of life, and we're not doing it. The home, the family. If there weren't so damn many divorces, we wouldn't have abortions. We wouldn't have teenage pregnancies at the rate that we have them today. Everything strikes to the home. That's the root of all the problems. And you want to talk about morality and things like that, they start to laugh at you.
Maressa's morality was not so evident when he was asked about his possible involvement in Abscam. His response prompted a bumper sticker.
The Arabian Nights, the Alibaba situation, the portrait that was painted, was so convincing, and it felt, it almost became patriotic to take their money. Let's take some of that $550 million. It's OPEC money. It's our tax dollars, so let's get some of this Arab money.
This clip of Senator Richie Van Wagner is not funny for what he says about homelessness, but for something which just sort of slipped out, and he didn't even realize it.
People who are without shelter tend to gravitate toward those areas, hoping to find a deserted building or a building that's not in use, that they can find shelter in.
I also did some interviews with average people who made news. This was an 80-year-old pilot named Arthur Reese on whether he would remarry.
Somebody just asked me, would you get married again? I said, look, I know the bed is cold at night, but I said, better a cold bed than disappoint a woman.
We end this series of clips as we began, with Brendan Byrne. This tape comes from an appearance in Philadelphia while he was governor in the late 70s. He was sitting next to his Pennsylvania counterpart, Dick Thornburg.
Somebody asked me the other day, how come the Arabs have all the oil and the Irish have all the potatoes? And I said, I don't know why. He says, because God gave the Irish first choice.
You guys are in trouble.
Well, I like to come to Philadelphia. I mean, you invite us over from New Jersey once in a while. I feel very important when I come over here. And frankly, we got a little bit of an inferiority complex in New Jersey. It goes all the way back to the Revolution, when you did the paperwork, we did the fighting, and you got all credit. I found out, by the way, and I told Thornburg this, that the governor of New Jersey during the American Revolution was William Franklin, who was Benjamin Franklin's son, albeit his illegitimate son, which prompted Thornburg to remark that it's a lot easier to be governor if you're a bastard right from the beginning. I think it was Thornburg who said that. Everybody wants to know about Atlantic City. I'm not prepared to talk about that. Maybe get some questions on it, but everybody at my table want to know about Atlantic City. And I just wanted to observe in passing, Atlantic City is doing fine. They take the credit for what's going right there. I get the blame for what's going wrong. Somebody told me that the crime rate has gone up dramatically in Atlantic City, and I get blamed for that. The crime rate has gone up in Atlantic City. 5 years ago, there was absolutely nothing to steal in Atlantic City.
I hope you enjoyed this trip down my memory lane. I'd like to express my thanks to all of you who helped me and worked with me over the years. I've had a great career doing something I've thoroughly enjoyed.